I realize that not a lot of people have seen or used Polaroid 8x10 film, so I'm going to take a self-portrait with it. Polaroid 8x10 film is kind of a weird thing. Since the machines that made it don't exist anymore, it has to be in my hand whenever they have a release of it. Because of that, they don't make it very often, and the last color drop they had was made in 2024. 8x10 comes in this giant box and is made up of two sealed containers, one with 10 negatives and another with 10 positives that have the chemical pods attached to them. The negatives are covered in this brown paper sleeve, which gets removed when you load the negative into these special 8x10 holders. Also, people want stupid amounts of money for the 8x10 equipment, so I only have the one film holder. It opens like a book, and the 8x10 sleeve has a little catch on the back of it so that you can lock it into place on a tab that sits at the top of the film holder. All you do is line that up and slide it onto the tab, then close the holder, which locks the negative in place inside. Then you can pull the protective sleeve off, and the film stays inside, ready to be exposed. 8x10 cameras are cool, but they're bulky, expensive, and can be pretty fragile. I turned an old suitcase into a case to store mine because I never take it anywhere. Mine is the Intrepid Black Edition 8x10. It's a good camera to start with because it's cheaper than a lot of the other options and it still does a pretty good job. The lens is also an annoying thing to get. There are like 1,000 options to choose from. Mine is a 300mm Fujinon. It does okay. Taking a self-portrait with large format is harder than you would think. Since you can't actually see through the camera when you take the picture, you have to try and focus it on a stand-in and then hope it looks right for your body when you get into the shot. Once you have everything sort of where you want it, you put the film in the film holder, pull the dark side out, which uncovers the negative to expose, cock the shutter, and set the self-timer. Now for the processing. Like I said before, there are two pieces. The negative is in the film holder, and the positive comes into play now. The positive has the chemical pods that will spread across the negative to develop it. The two pieces sandwiched together inside this giant, stupid machine. The Polaroid 8x10 film processor is literally just a giant set of rollers to squeeze the film through so the pods break and cover the negative. Think of it like a big version of the two steel rollers that every Polaroid camera has. The positive goes in the bottom of the tray, pods up, and the film holder holding the negative jams into the top. Then you push the button, which grabs the negative and the positive at the same time, pulls them through the rollers, breaking the pods, spreading the chemicals, and sticking the two pieces together. After a few minutes of sitting in the dark tray, the film has gotten to a point where we can see the image. It'll keep developing for several hours before it finishes, but eventually the contrast comes in and the colors get a lot more saturated. It's essentially just I-type film, so it develops in about the same time frame. As you can see, the film didn't fully spread, and it has some defects from how old it is. It's also not the greatest picture because I misjudged the height of my stand-in versus myself, so the composition isn't really there. That's the other issue with 8x10. The film itself is expensive, so if you mess up a single shot, you've made a $20 mistake. I stood too close to the camera on my first attempt, so I ended up super blurry and ruined a shot. All in all, 8x10 is fun, but it's a really expensive instant film that requires a bunch of really expensive equipment to take part in. Is it worth it? Honestly, probably not.